Hey, welcome to the channel, friends. As always, I'm stoked to see you. So stoked you're here, and today I'm going to do a little unpacking of a get-home bag that I carry inside my truck. If you want to master your fieldcraft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date on some future content. Now, you know, in this day and age, it's really not all that far-fetched to try to think of a scenario or a situation where you may have to leave your vehicle and step out. It's not just the worst case fringe events or scenarios that we're talking about anymore. You know, for the better part of the last 100 years, it has been those big global, world-ending events that have caused conspiracy theorists to go nuts, right? We've had 2 world wars that we've lived through. We had a Cuban Missile Crisis and a Cold War where mothers and fathers built bunkers in their backyard. We've seen terrorist activities all over this world that have shaken nations and brought them to their knees. We've been on the edge of a nuclear annihilation for a very long time. And just this year alone, so many people are wondering what is going to happen next. A lot more people now are saying than ever, I don't know what it is, but it is going to happen. Now, growing up, I was more concerned about my truck breaking down while I was off hunting and trying to make my way back. So I had things like a blanket in my car. Of course, I had a hunting rifle. And I knew that if anything happened, I could make it to where I needed to get to. But here anymore, we drive and travel a whole lot more than we ever used to. And just in recent events, in the last 9 months, we have seen more cities sparked with violence and outrage, and people abandoning their vehicles as their neighborhoods are being broken down and shattered. Think of the city, and it's probably been shut down. San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, Minneapolis, Green Bay, Dallas, Houston, New York City, Detroit, Chicago, Jacksonville. It doesn't matter if you're East Coast, West Coast, North or South. We've all been faced with the same scenarios. We can't buy toilet paper. There's food shortages. There's ammo shortages. But today, I'm not really talking about all of the worst case. I'm talking about most likely case. And listen to me, friends. You are more likely now than ever before to have to get out of your truck, to get out of your car and leave it and set a course for safety, to set a course for assistance, whether or not it was just a vehicle breakdown and you don't have any service, or whether or not it's an urban situation that you need to separate yourself from. And so having something in your vehicle where you can do just that. It can be a small, compact package like what I have. And I look forward to hearing your comments down below about what it is that you carry as we start to unpack what I carry. And I'm sure you can imagine a scenario just based off the most recent events, whether it was a protest or a riot, a freeway being shut down, or maybe you're just off hunting, checking on your own property, trying to find a new place to throw that line and catch some fish. And a vehicle breaks down, right? It doesn't have to be a cataclysmic event for what we're talking about. But what I have in my truck is a simple get-home bag, and it's in a civilian-styled backpack because I figured depending on the situation or the scenario, man, I don't want something that's going to draw a lot of attention to myself. So I wanted something that was plain and didn't speak too many stories. We'll take a look at what we have in this thing, and we'll keep thinking about the types of scenarios we could find ourselves in as we're making our way from our vehicle that could just be broken down. We need to make our way back home, wherever we need to get some help. Now, as we get going, I'd love to hear if you have a get home bag and what you may or may not have in it, as well as any thoughts you have on what we have in here. And so opening up this bottom one, start laying some things out here. You can already start to see I'm thinking about a few different scenarios, and then we'll talk about what's in each one. Hey team, going to take a short pause and remind you to check down in the description below for a link to any of the gear seen in the video, as well as over a dozen lists on my Amazon influencer page to help you organize and harden your kit. And if you're looking for a deeper connection, including one-on-one instruction, you'll also find a link to my Patreon page featuring 6 levels of membership so you can select the right perk, value, and support that you're looking for. Back to the content. Right, so as we're looking and thinking about what I have in my pack and some of the things I think we need to consider, right? And so regardless of the situation that we're trying to plan and prepare for, whether it's absolute worst case or just most likely case, we need to be considering things like food, fire, water, shelter, first aid, navigation, communication, self-defense, and maintaining a core body temperature. And so on that note, I carry, it is starting to become wintertime, so I've got a puffy jacket that comes up in nice and small and compact. If it was summertime or springtime, I'd probably swing this out to maybe just a vest and not a jacket itself. But having something to help maintain a core body temperature, truth be told, if we look at most statistics, not being able to do that has caused more fatalities than probably anything else. So I also got a pair of socks that I keep in a Ziploc bag, and I can't stress the importance of Ziploc bags and keeping your equipment waterproof. Not only does it keep it clean and dry, but it also makes it float. In order to communicate, I do have a couple means, but one of my primary ones is having a ham radio. Of course, I can keep up to date on NOAA stations, FM stations. I have all my local repeaters all in here, so it's good to go. Always carry about 25 to 50 feet paracord. I've got a single-walled stainless steel bottle that I can purify water in. I can cook in it. I can collect water in it. Have some hearing protection. I got an N95 mask, and inside the mask I got a pair of surgical gloves. You never know, especially in an urban environment, what kind of situation you can get yourself into. And you just think about things like Boston city bombing, during the run, New York City, and all of the smoke that people were having to deal with and work their way through. All the fires we've seen set in local cities recently. Having gloves to help being able to render some first aid. So that's why I have some tape and an emergency bandage, as well as a tourniquet. Some of these things I carry for myself. Some of them, quite frankly, are for other people. I have a chem light which can be used not only for my own illumination purposes, but it can also be used as a signaling tool as well. In addition to my jacket to maintain core temp, I have a couple heat packs here, especially beneficial for hands and feet. In addition to trash bag that I have, but specifically for my backpack, I do have a waterproof bag, and I have a scarf and a beanie. Now, I may not have a hat on at the time, so at least I know I have something in my pack that I can put on my head to stay warm. And I can use the scarf to stay warm. I can also use it as a first line or first measure to filter water if I'm concerned about the source. Speaking of water, I also have a standard 4-way, and I'll show you how I can find these spots. Got a little headlamp, right? It's just a cheap Vaunt headlamp, about $20, $12. I got fire start material as well as some chapstick laid on and some duct tape for emergency purposes. Some granola, battery pack, and cables for all of the instruments that I have. Of course, I have my phone. And I got a 55-gallon trash bag, which can be used for any number of things, from field expedient shelter, waterproofing, maintaining the core body temperature, water collection. Can't speak enough about having a good, solid, strong trash bag. Just a few items that, pack up extremely compact and well. And this is just an old camera case. When I was selecting a bag, I wanted to use a bag that I had. I didn't want to buy or purchase a bag. I wanted to use what I had. I wanted it to not stand out. I've got plenty of military bags, but I didn't want to use one because I didn't want it to look like anything. I wanted to have a couple compartments so I could maintain some kind of organization of my equipment. Right, team, and so the other item I carried in my truck and I'd pull out and put in my backpack if I needed it is a local map. Again, if I don't have cell service, I need a way to be able to negotiate where I'm trying to get to. And in a subsequent video, I'll show you how you can take a city map, a local map, and understand what your threat areas are, areas that you need to avoid, and resources that are in your local area that you can capitalize on. Right. Weighs less than 8 pounds, so it's not going to slow me down. It's not going to hurt to carry this thing for as long as I need to, and it's not going to draw attention to myself. I'm not standing out. Doesn't look like I have a whole lot of gear on me, but with the little things that I do have, I can get through all kinds of most likely scenario-based events that I could find myself in. Should I need to step away from my truck and get home. It's not a bug out bag, it's just a get home bag. And let me know what you think about the content of the video down in the comments below, and we'll just keep this conversation rolling. Let me know what you have in your truck or your vehicle to enable you to get home should you not have service and you find yourself in an emergency situation. If you enjoyed the content of it, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you can stay up to date on some future content. And as always, until then, you stay stoked.